Welcome back. This is At Home with Music, and we're continuing our series for you as a homeschool teacher on teaching your students basic keyboard skills and basic music theory. Now, I mentioned in the previous video that this series was not going to consist of what you might call traditional piano lessons. Not that there's anything wrong with traditional piano lessons. I definitely don't want this to be a one method versus another method. These two methods can smoothly transition one from the other, or one to the other, however you want to put it. Now, I of course, I studied traditional piano lessons and then learned this afterwards, this approach to the keyboard. And we're going to start with this approach, what I would call the popular approach or the chord-based approach to piano. And then later on, if your students so desire, they can move on to more traditional piano lessons, especially if they want to learn to play classical music, which is definitely a worthy endeavor. So basically, there are two approaches to the piano. I'm going to keep using the term piano because that's what I'm used to, but you can substitute the word keyboard for piano. I know many of you may not have pianos in your home, but you've got a keyboard, like the one I'm sitting behind right now. This is a Korg Triton LE. It's kind of an old keyboard. I've had it for many years. I've used it for many live performances, but it's still your basic keyboard. Keys are just like the piano, only there's not as many of them. In traditional piano lessons, you learn the notes and then you follow the music exactly as it's written. And you're learning little pieces, and then you gradually go on and you learn more and more difficult ones. And the student is required to learn the bass clef, left hand necessarily, most of the time. And they're required to learn the treble clef, which most of the time is the right hand. And then they have to read those two clefs at the same time and play all the right notes at the right speed and not hit any wrong notes. Nonetheless, this is a valuable thing to have traditional piano lessons. It teaches discipline. It teaches stick-to-itiveness. You've really got to have some dedication and discipline to study the piano this way. And so it is very valuable. Now, in this method, you're still going to be learning valuable concepts to help you learn music. And what we're going to be doing is starting by learning the notes on the keyboard. And then, instead of learning how to read notes, we will study music notation, but we're going to study it in a different way. We're only going to concentrate on the treble clef to begin with. Eventually, you will learn the bass clef. But right now, we're only going to learn the one clef, and then we're going to learn how to form chords using the notes on the keyboard. And so you'll learn how to play the basic chords, in fact, all the basic chords. This is something that I've been able to teach adults in less than an hour, how to find and play 36 basic chords. And there really are only 36 of them. And then there's a couple of special types of chords that can be moved around the keyboard, and they can have a very dramatic effect on what you're playing. And I'll add those in. So really 38 basic chords. And so we learn the chords, and then you learn all the basic keys that the chords fall in, key signatures if you like. And you learn to play from what we call a lead sheet. Lead sheet is basically the melody written out on one staff, the treble clef. And then if it's a song, you've got the lyrics underneath the notes, and you've probably seen something like this. And then you learn how to read the chord symbols that represent the chords that we're going to learn to play on the keyboard. And so you'll also learn how to improvise, how to modulate, and how to play by ear. Believe it or not, I can teach you how to play by ear. And then you, in turn, can teach your students how to do it as well. And you can have a lot of fun improvising and playing by ear on the keyboard, especially when they learn the basic chords and how these chords relate to each other, how everything fits together. I think you'll find this to be really exciting and a lot of fun. So those are the two different approaches, and we're going to take what you might want to call the popular approach or the chord-based approach. And then later on, we can branch out into a more classical approach to the piano. But remember, the whole idea is you're going to stay one step ahead of your students. And you'll be able to teach your students the basics of music even if you yourself are not a musician. If you have any questions or concerns about this, please feel free to leave a comment for me. And you can contact me through the comment section here on YouTube, and I answer everything that comes through there. I'm looking forward to helping you in this most valuable endeavor, teaching your child, teaching your students the basics of music appreciation, music theory, and how music works. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you get a chance, and let other homeschool families know about At Home with Music. Thanks again.